A very short dude once said, "Many of the truths that we cling to depend on our point of view." Today, I will be showing you the new Retevis RA85 GMRS radio. The price for the Retevis RA85 radio is $36. Affiliate link below, but do not use that affiliate link just yet until you're sure that this radio will actually meet your GMRS needs. Now, Retevis did send me a set of 2 RA85 GMRS radios so that I could share them with you, my favorite viewer, but just because they sent me these radios at no charge does not mean that I'm not about to take a large, wet, spicy, voluminous dump right on Retevis's chest, because this radio, keep watching. When you purchase the Retevis RA85 radio, you will receive a user's manual. It is written in decent Chinglish, not the worst I've ever seen. It does go over all the features and get you started on how to use the radio. You will receive a belt clip. The belt clip attaches to the radio itself, not the battery, which is good. You will receive this very handsome wrist strap. You will receive a charger for charging your RA85 radio. You will receive a charging cable for connecting to your charger. Thusly, you will receive a USB adapter, which you can plug the other end into and then stick into the holes in your wall. You will receive this sexy hand microphone, which has its own clip for clipping to the lapel and impressing the chicks. You will receive this 1800 milliamp hour battery, and you will receive the Retevis RA85 handheld GMRS radio. The 1800 milliamp hour battery slides easily into the radio. You can then remove it with this push to remove button, very easy. The antenna is not removable. It is affixed permanently to the radio. This does not mean that this is an FRS radio. This means that this is a GMRS radio that happens to have a non-removable antenna. And there does not seem to be any set screw or anything to loosen so that you can remove the antenna. It does seem permanent. Maybe it's glued on, but it is not easily removable. The radio does have a flashlight, which apparently is very important to many people. Every time I make fun of the flashlight, several people will leave comments that they cannot live without the flashlight. Push to talk button, 2 programmable buttons, VFO memory button to switch between channel mode and frequency mode, AB switch to switch between the 2, I'll show you that in a minute, standard buttons, standard K-type connecting holes for plugging in something like a external microphone, and a USB-C charging hole. So you can charge the radio either by sticking it in its cradle, or if you lose the cradle, you can charge the battery directly via the USB hole.
Welcome. Channel mode.
The Retevis lady sounds very much like the Baofeng lady.
Welcome. Channel mode.
Very familiar voice. Transmit and receive LED lights. You'll see on the screen the normal accoutrement. Switch between channel mode, VFO mode by hitting the VM button. This radio has dual receive, so you can listen to 2 frequencies at the same time. For example, I'm now listening to the Ranchino repeater. That is the not a Rubicon repeater here in Southern California. And I could switch the bottom to monitor the Delta repeater, which is another repeater in the not a Rubicon network of Southern California GMRS repeaters. The radio has no ingress protection rating, That means that it is not waterproof or dustproof in any meaningful way. It does receive NOAA channels.
In California, Riverside County, mountains, and San Diego town, and a few power outages may result.
And it can also receive regular commercial FM radio as well.
I want you to listen to the results. Competition. Listen to the definition.
So you can keep up with what Xenu is up to. As I mentioned, it does have the dual monitoring, which can easily be turned off for those like me that are simple-minded and get confused easily by hearing two things at once. It's very easy to do in the menus. And it also has a Vox feature, VOX, so that you can talk and it will transmit without actually pressing the button. Does anybody actually use that? If you use Vox, if you require Vox, leave a comment and explain yourself. This radio is repeater capable. It does do split tones. It does allow you to store multiple repeaters on the same frequency with different tones. And most importantly, it does have a Roger beep. The radio can do the standard amount of FARs that most handheld 5-watt radios claim. Because the antenna is not removable, I can't actually test the power output, but I was able to talk to my friend Chris on simplex, no repeater, 10 miles away, no problem, and I'm able to hit my two favorite repeaters, one at 30 miles away in that direction and the other one 69 miles away in that direction, no problem. Sounds good so far, right? Keep watching. This is the part of the video where, again, I talk directly to my friends at Retevis. Retevis, are you paying attention? In my previous videos, I have tried to be nice. I've given my opinions. I've given my advice. I've told you what I think is good and bad about the radios you've sent me, and you've ignored it. So I'm not going to be nice anymore. And if that means that you don't send me radios anymore, that's okay. We can still be friends. So allow me to draw the attention of my viewers to a few features that Retevis has built in to the radio. Features. The radio comes with CTCSS and DCS tones or codes on every single channel. This means that out of the box, you can talk to another RA85 radio, no problem. But if you want to talk to any other GMRS radio in the world, you can't. They would hear you just fine. You would not hear them because the tones and codes that this comes pre-programmed with would prevent you from hearing them. So in order to use this radio to have a two-way conversation with any GMRS radio in the world, either you have to go in and remove the tones from the radio, or you have to tell the other person that you want to talk with to add the tones that this radio has. And to do that, you would need to look them up in the manual. It's a pain in the bitch. And this is not a mistake. Retevis, they put it in the manual. It's as if Retevis went out of their way to make this radio useless, at least for talking with other GMRS radios easily. As I mentioned, you can remove the tones either on the front panel or using the programming software. Either way, it is a pain in the bitch. But to use the software, you need to have a programming cable because the charging cable, the fancy USB cable that we talked about earlier, this is not a programming cable. You need a cable with a K1 type connector. Retevis sells this cable for $11 or $12. Any Baofeng programming cable with that K-type connection will work, but without the specific programming cable, you can't program it using the software. You're limited to. And while you're using the software, you may notice that the channel mode display option, which is in the software, does not work. This means that the only way to view a custom channel, you can see that both of these channels I've given custom names to, you can't enable that in the software. The option is there, it doesn't work. So the only way to enable that is to go into your menus, go into menu items 20 and 21 and set the MDF, that's the screen, for A and B to display the name. Otherwise, what you will get is only the frequency showing as the name. And finally, the coup de grace, the kick in the nuts, as some would say, is that this radio is narrow band only. Really, Retevis? If this radio can do wideband, I can't figure out how to do it either on the radio or in the software. Why, Retevis? GMRS is wideband. Why would you send me a GMRS radio that can only do narrowband? What does this mean? Now I have to pick up the radio. I threw the radio in anger. As you saw, I'm sorry for my outburst. So what is the difference between wideband and narrowband? Somebody should really make a video explaining it. The short version is that a narrowband radio can still talk to a wideband radio and vice versa. They can still talk. But remember that pretty much every GMRS radio in the world, except for a few models by Midland, they're all wideband radios. So if you use this narrowband radio, any narrowband radio, to talk to a wideband radio, they will hear you. You can still talk, but your volume would be very low. You could be close, you could have a strong signal, but they won't hear you as loud. They will hear you at approximately 50% volume level. And because of that, they're going to keep saying, "What did you say? Can you repeat yourself? Speak up, I can't hear you." Scream into the radio all you want. Your screams will do no good. And when they talk to you from their wideband radio to your narrowband radio, the volume might sound weird, like it's clipping. You can still carry on a conversation, but the person with the wideband radio is going to be saying, "What did you say? I can't hear you." And you're going to be saying to yourself, listening to them on your narrowband radio when they're transmitting to you in wideband, you're going to say, "What's wrong? Why do they sound funny and clippy and strange?" Now, many wideband radios can be switched into narrowband, but why should they have to do extra work and suffer? Because Retevis keeps shipping narrowband radios. So should you buy the Retevis RA85 radio? You tell me. Leave a comment and let Retevis know if you would buy a narrowband radio with CTCSS codes and tones pre-programmed, because apparently they don't listen to me.